All right, guys, it's the holiday season, and I'm asking Santa Claus for NBA action. So I'm partnering up with the DraftKings Sportsbook because they always are hooking up our customers, especially new ones. All new customers bet $5 or more on any pregame wager and get $150 in bonus bets instantly by using my promo code DCTV at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Look, we all love hoops. We all love basketball. And everybody always tries to act as though they know everything about basketball. Well, let's put your knowledge to the test. All new customers bet $5 or more on any pregame wager and get $150 in bonus bets instantly by using my promo code DCTV at the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Hey, guys, at the DraftKings Sportsbook, make that crown yours. Oh boy, what a morning. What a 24 hours, actually. You know, we have been looking forward to what's next for so many of the best fighters in the world as we head into 2024. And right as the year ends, you know, you're filled with all these questions. Well, we finally got some answers. So first, we know Strickland Duplessis January. We know Topuria versus Volk February. In March, you know we got O'Malley versus Cheeto. Well, I think I know, or we at least have an idea now of what we're getting at UFC 300, at least one of the fights, one of the title fights. Leon Edwards said yesterday he was at a soccer game, football, and said he's defending his championship of UFC 300. You would imagine that would be against Belal Muhammad. But then the bigger news today comes out, Conor McGregor said he's back. McGregor said that he's going to be fighting at UFC 302 is what that would probably line up to be at International Fight Week at the end of June against Michael Chandler at 185 pounds. So when you hear that immediately, you go, well, wait, isn't he a lightweight? I know he's dabbled at 170. We saw him fight Cerrone at 170. We saw him fight Diaz at 170. But isn't this guy a lightweight? Wasn't he the featherweight champ and the lightweight champ? What's he talking about, 185? There is no world in which Conor McGregor is a middleweight. Conor McGregor is as much of a middleweight as Alex Pereira is. Pereira's not a middleweight. He's a light heavyweight. He weighs 235 pounds. He just somehow managed to get down there. McGregor's not a middleweight. So then you ask yourself, why? Why is he saying 185? Well, you got to watch the video. And you hear the laugh at the end. It's like Dr. Evil from the Austin Powers shows. You remember Dr. Evil would make these little jokes and he would laugh and he would put his finger in his face because he knew he was being bad. And that's what McGregor's doing. McGregor's being bad. McGregor's playing the game. McGregor's being the villain right now. He's being the villain. Because the villain manipulates. The villain pulls the strings. The villain's the puppet master. The villain makes you move to his music. The villain makes you move to his rhythm. McGregor's being the villain. And you know why? You know why? Because Michael Chandler's a good guy. Michael Chandler's a good guy. Michael Chandler refuses to play the bad guy, even if at times playing the bad guy would play to his benefit. He should have played the bad guy a little bit in this situation with McGregor and said, F off. I'm done with you. Fuck you. It's taking too long. You're pulling my strings. I haven't fought because you aren't ready to fight. You're doing things that aren't allowing me to go make money. He should have said to hell with it. And I believe if he'd have said to hell with it, McGregor probably would have came back to him a little sooner. But he never did, so now it's compounding. Now Conor's saying that he has to fight him at middleweight, a weight 30 pounds heavier than Michael Chandler fights at consistently. And guess what? If McGregor is serious, and if McGregor insists that this fight takes place at 185, it's going to take place at 185 because Mike's not going to tell him no. Mike's going to go and make more money than he's ever made on any given night in his entire career. But he's going to play this guy's rules. You got to stand up at times. But, I mean, we got to understand also that Conor McGregor is the belle of the ball. Conor McGregor is the guy that essentially writes Michael Chandler's check. Especially if Chandler is a partner on the pay-per-view side. Because Conor sells, Chandler gets paid. Chandler's been pay-per-view before. He's going to see a massive difference in the numbers that he gets and that his bank account is going to get. But at what point do you say to yourself, I'm a fighter, he's a fighter, we're just two dudes that do the same thing for a living. We got to be on some even terms. 185, Mike? 185, Conor? Does this fight really take place at 185? I think so. I think McGregor is going to do anything in his power to make Chandler uncomfortable and make Chandler realize and know this is my game. You're just lucky enough that I choose to play it with you. Right now, that's what McGregor's doing. I go back to when he fought Khabib. And Conor was always late to press conferences. He wouldn't show up. And guys would just sit there, twiddling their thumbs, waiting. Jose Aldo, Chad Mendez, everybody sat there, twiddling their thumbs. Khabib got up and left. He said, this guy's not professional. I'm leaving. I'm not staying here and just waiting. Because Khabib understood, I'm not playing the game by his rules. I'm not just lucky to be in this position. He wouldn't accept it. He wouldn't accept it. And by not accepting it, I mean, I can't say that he changed the way the fight would play out because I don't know that it would have been any different because of the fight styles. But you take a little bit of the power away. With a guy like Conor, you got to find a way. You got to find a way. And it's hard because he is the biggest star. And you do know what you're staring at in terms of a payday. But you got to find a way to take some of that power away as a competitor. And right now, my boy, Michael Chandler, one of my boys, he's not doing that. I spoke to Brett Okamoto about this. And he thinks that the reason this won't happen at 185 because it doesn't give you a clear idea of what's next. Because if they fight at 185, Conor wins, it doesn't get him any closer to a title fight, or Michael Chandler for that matter. You're still kind of spinning the wheel. You fought, but you've really fought just to fight because it has no bearing on what the future holds for either of the competitors. It has no bearing. And I don't know that the UFC likes to operate in that way. Conor's at International Fight Week. I know for a fact that his target date was 300. He said it publicly. He didn't get the date that he wanted, but obviously International Fight Week is one of the biggest fight cards in the entire year. You could put him at a fight card anywhere, though, and he would still make for massive numbers. That's how big of a star he is. UFC 300, though, will get Leon Edwards. Rock wants to be busy. Said that performance over Covington. It's great. But it's all about Conor and that crazy maniacal laugh. Dr. Evil, the guy that tells you, you're going to play my... I mean, it was like that from the start of The Ultimate Fighter. Their first interaction was kind of trying to tell Mike, you'll do what you're told, is what he told him. Fast forward a whole year, and we're getting closer to the fight, which we're all excited about, and they're still playing the same game. Mike has not taken that away from him in any way, shape, or form. And it's not my money, but ultimately I think he should have tried. Now, at the end of the day, we can get to June, and Michael Chandler can go and knock Conor McGregor out and shut him up and put away all the words that we have spoken negatively about him. Or he could not. And what if he doesn't? What if Michael Chandler doesn't get the job done against McGregor? Then what? Where do you go from there? So for as good of a matchup it would seem to be for Conor, because Mike's going to play the game with him, Chandler's got a lot to lose too, because regardless of his results to this point, he's always stayed viable, and people have always considered him a contender, a guy that could challenge, a guy that could do all these things. But what if you lose to a guy that hasn't won much lately, coming off a 2-year injury? Seems like not only Conor McGregor got a ton of pressure going into that fight at International Fight Week. Look, I like the fight. I think it's the right fight. I think it's the only fight to make for these two. I think it will be at 185 for the sole fact that McGregor wants to make the rules, and he knows that Mike's going to play to his game. The fight should be at 170, because then you can figure it out if someone wins. But I believe it'll be 185. Hey, I love to talk. I love to throw out hypotheticals, but I also know that I have the honor of sitting next to the octagon for that fight, and it's going to be amazing. So Conor McGregor says he's back. And while on so many occasions it hasn't really proven to be true, this one makes a lot of sense. So we'll see. Guys, Leon Edwards is also fighting at UFC 300. So get excited. I can't wait for the next couple of UFC 300 fights. I bet it'll be like a triple title fight type of card, because they always blow up the Centennial cards. But now we know what we got from January all the way to June. We're just missing that May pay-per-view right now. Big year on paper already for the worldwide leader. Guys, Happy New Year. I love each and every one of you. 2023 was a year of change for me. I hope that the change has made you better as it has done for me myself. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate your love and support continually. Be safe tonight. Don't drink and drive, and stay close to the people you love the most. Happy New Year, guys. Until next time, peace. I'll see you in 2024. Can you believe that? We're already in 2024. Unbelievable. Later.